Hey, good morning. Jeff Muller here, Jersey Sports Guys, North and South. Welcome aboard. Right now, I'm speaking to you. It's a Saturday morning down here in South Carolina. That's why we call it Jersey Sports Guys, North and South. My friend, colleague, Martin Calia, we're both based down here in South Carolina, but we're Jersey transplants. We've been involved with the sports writing business for over 40 years, a lot of different outlets. Marty's a huge horse racing aficionado, and he's always right on with his picks in the big races. But this morning, can we get back to baseball? Are we still in Nick Delirium land? I think a lot of Knicks fans, like myself, for a long time, I go back to the 69 and the 73 championship teams. We're still in a state of Nick Delirium right now. And rightfully so. First time the Knicks won a championship since 1973. They went through so many roadblocks, so many heartaches, so many obstacles to overcome. There were so many bad periods in Knicks basketball. The Knicks had that run from 68 to 74. They were in the conference finals every year. Some great battles with the Celtics, with the Bullets, those great Bullets teams back then. The Lakers, of course, when they got to the final round. But yeah, I think we still got to celebrate this. It's a week old today. Where were you last Saturday when the Knicks beat the Spurs in San Antonio? And there's still a lot you could talk about this series because it's been a while for Knicks fans, and the parade was Thursday. And you saw the highlights there. And then I thought it was great. The Knicks were walking through the crowd and right in there with the crowd. And, that's the kind of team this was. It was a working class, blue collar team. Brunson emerged as a superstar, and rightfully so. The guy plays with a football mentality out there. He gets banged up every single game, but he just keeps going. And it's amazing how quick he is when you watch him off the dribble, how quickly he gets to the basket. He's a relative to how tall ball, okay, but he's stocky. He's, like I said, on the small side, but he gets to the basket so quickly. And he just really carried this team. He epitomized this team, the work ethic behind this team. They weren't big time NBA superstars by any point. When you looked at the roster, the starting five, okay, but they just meshed, and it was more on the lines of the 69 and the 73 teams that they had those role players that were just so good. OG Anunoby just stepped up and tremendously in the postseason. Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, Brunson, the big man, Karl Anthony Towns finally starting to play down low. And that was his Achilles heel last year when he was just stayed outside and didn't get down low. But it's a team that is together. The starting five is in there. There are under contract. Deuce McBride's under contract. Okay. Like every team, every year that gets to the postseason, gets to the finals, wins the finals, they're going to have challenges. Okay. Mitchell Robinson and Landry Shamet. He's the guy. Those two guys, they're unrestricted free agents. I think Robinson will come back. I hope he does. I hope Shamet comes back because this is the core that is still relatively young. Okay. And they can keep these guys together, I think, for a while. I think Shamet will probably test the open market, see what's out there. Robinson may get a huge offer someplace. Who knows? He's a big man. Big men are at a premium, especially if they have playoff experience. He might get a look from somebody. Who knows? But again, there's going to be some changes. That happens every year. But the core is together. McBride's there. I think if Robinson comes back, you got 7 guys coming back, and that's a good thing to move on for next year. It's funny. This is the Knicks. They didn't get the respect the whole season. Nobody thought the Knicks weren't in the discussion when it came to teams that could win the NBA championship. They weren't in the discussion at all. Vegas just opened up. The Knicks were not, believe it or not, the Celtics are picked to win the Eastern Division right now on FanDuel. They're the top pick to win the Eastern Division. So that's interesting. Now, here's the world champions. They're now the defending world champions next year and are not picked to win the division. Vegas, they'll always know something, right? They usually come out on top, but Jason Tatum will be back with that Celtics team. And I think you'll see some good battles next year. Like every team on any team in any sport, it's very difficult to repeat. You can't control the uncontrollable things that happen during a season. Injuries, that's going to be the big thing. The Knicks were healthy this year. They stayed healthy. Nobody had a major injury. Nobody was saddled for a while with an injury. Nobody missed a lot of time. Okay. For that to happen again, it's going to be a dice roll to see what happens if they can go the whole season without somebody being injured. Okay. And again, along with that, the other unforeseen factor they have to worry about is, can this team get on a run again? Teams get hot, teams get cold. Basketball is a game of runs on any level. High school, college, pro. It's a game of runs. Runs as far as games, runs as far as runs during a game. Okay. Can the Knicks get that back? Can they keep the same mojo this year and can just continue on their way next year? It'll be interesting. But Knicks fans, enjoy the moment. It's been a long time, and I know a lot of Knicks fans aren't over it. You're still going to talk about it for a while. You're out there buying your Knicks t-shirts and basketballs and memorabilia. I got caught up. I liked a couple of t-shirts I saw online that were pretty cool as far as the design and the color. And you want to do that. You want to wear that t-shirt out to the public and say, hey, I'm proud to be a Knicks fan after all these years. All right. So enjoy the moment. Can we get back to baseball? Are we going to get back to baseball in Big Apple? Okay. Quietly. How many people have mentioned, how many times have you heard Aaron Judge's name mentioned lately? You don't hear anything about Aaron Judge, okay? It's been since, I think last time I heard something about Aaron Judge was last week when the Knicks were, on the verge of winning that championship that week. It's been relatively quiet about Judge because the Yankees are winning. The Yankees are winning. They have depth in that lineup. Dominguez is back up, okay? He almost misplaced the ball last night, but he's hitting around 200. Okay, they're winning with that lineup, and McMahon is not hitting, and Volpe's not hitting, but they're still winning with that lineup. All right, and again, maybe the Yankees might be symbolic of the Knicks in many ways right now, the way they're winning, because there's no real superstar standing out. Stanton's not back yet. Now, Aaron Judge is not in the lineup. Ben Rice has done a great job, but the Yankees are winning by putting it together. A lot of role players on that team right now. Paul Goldschmidt, what a pickup he was. Okay. He's really helped them out a lot. Garrett Cole. Okay. You look at that pitching staff, I think it's going to be pretty solid. Maybe they move Weathers to the bullpen. He struggled a little bit. There's been talk about bringing Aroldis Chapman back. I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't. I don't know if the Yankees need him, right now. I think it might spoil some chemistry there because the bullpen has been pretty solid. Bednar's done a good job. Brent Hedrick's done a good job. Cruz, Tim Hill, Yarborough, Blackburn, okay, and Schlittler. So you got Schlittler. You had a great game last night. Great game Friday night. 13 strikeouts. Look phenomenal, okay? You got Cole. He looks like he's coming back. You got Rodon, okay? So you got a big three there. And Warren's pitching nicely for him, okay? Maybe at the deadline, maybe Cashman picks up another pitcher. Who knows? He may try to solidify that. Okay. But the Yankees, again, remember, just think about this. The Yankees are winning without Judge, and nobody's talking about Aaron Judge. That's a good thing. Okay. The Mets, I'm hoping they can win about 70 games. I don't know. And it's a shame because they lost Scott, the young pitcher. McLean's pitched well. They got some young players. They're not really going to go anywhere. They're not going to make a run. If they get close to 500, a couple of games below that, that will be a good season for them this year. I think Carlos Mendoza will be back. I don't see any need to fire him at this point. It'll be interesting to see if David Stearns gets fired at the end of the season. Losing Clay Holmes was big for the Mets. If they had Clay Holmes back on his staff, I think it would really help. Freddie Peralta might get dealt. I don't think the Mets are going to try to meet his contract needs, his wants. They may try to deal him. He pitches better in the second half of the season, Peralta. That's a plus for the Mets. But he may be dealt because Mets may end up getting something. Just to get back to the Yanks here, at one point, we talked about Aaron Judge, but also what about Max Fried? Nobody's talked about Max Fried, right? Okay. Injured. It's been a while since he's been out there. Your best player, best hitter, you're missing Fried, arguably maybe your best pitcher. And the Yankees, I don't think anybody's going to get in their way unless somebody else offense and you're winning. So Yankee fans, let it ride. Who knows when Fried's coming back in your eye? Let it ride. Okay. Knicks fans, enjoy the moment. To talk about that. Finally, in closing, always do a pop culture item. Jerseys, great for hot dogs. We got Jets and we got Giants coming up on the horizon. Paul Jusic, Riverview East, stop there. It's no longer open. New Jersey border. There were some great places right there. Every time I go back north, I have to go to the Ruts Hut. Got to go to Ruts Hut. And with my nephew, Anthony Ferriola, we go to Hot Dog Johnny's on Route 31. Still, it's those deep fried Jersey hot dogs. Jersey Americana, they are a piece of Jersey. Enjoy them, okay? Johnny and Hanges, another good spot. But don't forget those Jersey hot dogs.